If the events of this past week were to communicate one thing loud and clear, it is that the time for Glass-Steagall national banking and NWAPA has come. But with Barack Obama in the White House, the time that still exists to enact those policies may be swiftly cut short by the thermonuclear conflict with Russia that Obama is committed to. Just yesterday, Russian Prime Minister Medvedev warned unequivocally that nations seeking to usurp the national sovereignty of any nation, especially theirs, that nuclear war is indeed on the table for any such violation.
Это реалии, с которыми мы все должны считаться. И государственной власти придется дать на этот запрос свой, надеюсь, эффективный ответ. Доктрина государственного суверенитета. Она не должна размываться, даже если это удобно для достижения каких-то текущих политических целей. Вплоть до цели избраться на соответствующую позицию. Это просто опасно для мирового порядка. А примеров посягательств на доктрину суверенитета в последние годы было очень немало. Чего стоят и военные операции против иностранных государств в обход Организации Объединенных Наций, заявление о том, что тот или иной политический режим потерял легитимность, причем заявление со стороны иностранных государств, а не со стороны народа соответствующей страны, введение всяческих коллективных санкций в обход международных институтов. Все это не улучшает ситуацию в мире, а последствия скоропалительных военных операций в иностранных государствах обычно заканчиваются одним – приходом к власти радикалов. Я уже не говорю, что в какой-нибудь момент такие действия, которые подрывают государственный суверенитет, могут закончиться вполне себе такой полноценной региональной войной. И даже, никого не хочу пугать, с применением ядерного оружия. Об этом должны помнить все.
This statement is an obvious message directed to the Obama administration indirectly and the financial power that controls it. Since the illegal war launched in Libya last year and even the more unlawful assassination of Muammar Gaddafi, the administration has done nothing but show a disgusting abuse of executive power and criminal disregard for domestic and international law, a disregard that nations like Russia and even high-level U.S. military officials view as threats to national sovereignty. Russia has repeatedly stated that that is the issue over military intervention in Syria and Iran: sovereignty. That is the issue at stake with all the threats occurring at this point. And beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's what's at stake with the joint U.S. NATO anti-ballistic missile system being built in Europe aimed at Russia. Despite Obama's irrational commitment to war, saner elements in the United States have mounted in and around the U.S. military. Specifically, Representative Walter Jones, in his push for legislation H.C.R. 107, declares that any president who launches war without congressional approval would be immediately subject to impeachment. This was followed by Senator Jim Webb in a restatement he made on the same point in the Senate in his piece of legislation S. 3176 to try to stop a preemptive illegal war. So far, they stand virtually alone, and that in and of itself increases the danger of nuclear war. While Jones's and Webb's legislation is despicably still outstanding in both houses of Congress, the U.S. House of Representatives has passed a resolution on Iran that moves the United States much closer to a war footing against Iran. And as many experts and diplomats like Dan Shapiro, the envoy to Israel from the United States, warn, America is ready to attack. The non-binding resolution H.R. 568 that overwhelmingly passed 401 to 11 effectively calls for a military attack on Iran when it obtains nuclear weapons capability. The vague interpretation already applies to Iran and actually any other country with a civilian nuclear program, and comes at a time when Israeli Defense Minister Ehud Barak is actively urging the international community to increase pressure on Syria, as he says, to strike a further blow to Iran. Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson, former chief of staff for the Secretary of State Colin Powell, warned that this resolution reads like the same sheet music that got us into the Iraq War and could be the precursor for a war with Iran. It's effectively a thinly disguised effort to bless war. General Wilkerson is right, and if his and others' warnings are not heeded, whether it's concerning Iran, Syria, or Russia directly, the United States will have violated the rights of a sovereign nation, whose consequences was spelled out by Medvedev yesterday. Those consequences being a thermonuclear war, threatening the annihilation of the entire human species. That is President Obama's commitment. Therefore, there is no discussion of war avoidance policy that does not include removing Barack Obama from office. We have been warned, and the way things are looking now, we will not get another one.